Good evening, and welcome to the continued public hearing of the City Manager's recommended operating budget for the fiscal year 2024. Tonight's public hearing is a continuation of the public hearing from Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. As a reminder, citizens are allowed to speak only once on any single topic over the two-day public hearing. We will now move directly to public comments for the continued budget public hearing. Our light system is a 3-minute light system. After stating your name and address, the green light will appear. After 2 minutes, the yellow light will appear. And after 3 minutes, the red light will appear. At that time, we ask that you please take your seat. Written remarks may be handed to the city clerk to be made a part of the record. The city code identifies the procedure for citizen participation regarding items on tonight's agenda and provides the opportunity for citizens to address City Council on matters that are germane to the business of the Council. Copies of the city ordinance regarding citizen participation can be found at the desk in the lobby. If you intend to address Council this evening, please pick up and review a copy of that ordinance. Are there any speakers? I see that we have 6. I'm going to call the speakers in the order that they appear. Lois Benjamin.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Lois Benjamin, a property owner and resident of Newport News. since 1990. I am here to address before this august body, Mayor, Councilmen, and Councilwomen, and the Commissioner of Revenue, an issue of importance to me and to seniors similarly situated regarding the limitations of the provision for real estate tax exemption for elderly and the real estate tax deferral for the elderly and disabled. As a senior living on a fixed income.
Ma'am, can you speak directly into the mic? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. As a senior living on a fixed income, the percentage of tax change for the following years of 21, 22, and 23 on my residence was 9.35%, 11.4%, and 9.23%, respectively. At this yearly percentage increase, I will be forced out of my home and the city I love. I do not have a mortgage on my home, and its value has increased over the 33 years I have resided there. Hence, with the home equity in and of itself, I do not qualify for either the real estate tax exemption for the elderly or the real estate tax deferral for the elderly. I will skip so much and submit. With that said, for those middle-income, long-term senior resident of Newport News, like myself, who live on a fixed income and who pay their taxes and bill on time, and are law-abiding and productive citizens who have frugally saved and planned for a comfortable retirement in our homes, where do we fit in this vibrant city which brand itself as built on breakthroughs, beside the trash collection and the occasional street sweepings about 4 times a year? What services are provided to residents in this category? Is the goal to penalize middle-class income seniors for being responsible citizens? Is it the desire of this body to tax us to death, literally and figuratively, or to force us out of the city or into poverty? We are living longer and have healthier lives. The average life expectancy for women is 82 and for men 76. The average age of entrance into the nursing facility is 78. But that is costs we must bear. In 2023, Virginia nursing care was yearly $104,000, $552 for semi-private rooms.
Thank you, ma'am. That's the red, but we can let you finish up if you're right at the end.
What do you say?
That's the red for the 3 minutes on the beeper.
You let me finish up?
If it's very quickly.
Okay, yes. So what I'm, at the perusal of the homestead exemption in various cities, what I'm proposing is a no income requirement for property owners who are 70 and over of a $100,000 off the assessed value of their home and to pay no school taxes. My time is up. I had more to say. I'll submit it, but thank you very much, and good evening, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thomas Barr.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Barr.
Sir, can you move the mic? It's
there we go. Thomas Barr. I live at One Shore Park Drive. I've lived at that address for 21 years and lived in Newport News since '68. Time starts now. Is that it? All right. So the reason I'm here is to express my disappointment and request for a change on the proposed real estate tax for this year. I spoke last year on the same subject. The proposed value of my home that my family has lived in has increased since July 21 over 29% by the city assessor's office in just 3 years. This is not a sustainable increase for me and so many others. Also, this is a proposed value if I sold my house, based on the assumption that it would sell for that amount, which depends on the market. I did not buy my home as an investment, but to have a home to raise my family and to retire as many of your citizens. The consumer price index rate for the same period is estimated at 18.7 based on 6% for this year. Last year I mentioned other cities similar in size and service at a significant lower property tax, but was informed since that day that the reason that their property taxes is lower is because their home values are higher. That doesn't pass the smell test to me. Maybe their leadership at all levels within their locality is more proactive, holds costs within reason, doing better at managing their citizens' money because they realize it is not their money, and also finding additional revenue sources, etc. Last year, the city manager spoke about how proud it was that the city of Newport News was over $1 billion corporation. Really? Did someone forget this is a city, is a community based on citizens paying taxes and not a corporation with profits? Last year, I asked the previous city council to please see how these other localities and Hampton Roads can have a lower property tax, still provide the high level of service within the localities, and asked the same thing this year, but not only as a citizen, but now as a stockholder and an investor, that I believe that you can do a better with our money by lowering the property taxes, and most importantly, seeing how the other localities are able to do this and still provide excellent service. Again, I appreciate and thank you for your time and also for allowing me to speak. But one last thing, since I do have a little bit of time. This city has one of the highest property taxes in Hampton Roads, but doesn't rate as having one of the highest in the area for our school systems and some of the various services. I don't discount the many hardworking city employees providing excellent service every day, but something needs to be done. Now, if you gave that 30% last year or over the last 3 years to the employees in pay raises, that would be great. I didn't see that, okay? I did not see that, and that's not fair, okay? So if you guys are gonna do these things, I really appreciate that you would look at everything and reconsider what you're doing with your budget this year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Ephraim. I don't want to mess up the last name. Raghazi. Thank you.
Testing. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, it's an honor for me. It's an honor for giving me the opportunity to speak, and we are glad that you are having a town hall up here. It's about a 17-mile bike ride or hour and a half to 2-hour bus ride and walk from my home here to City Hall. So I'm a homeowner too, but I understand that not all of your constituents are homeowners. So I will not ask for a carve out of my property taxes because I think those are short-sighted and does little to increase the value of my home or my neighborhood. Our property taxes, I think, is connected to the way this city is designed. We have too many empty vacant lots, too many concrete, too many empty parking lots that does not generate revenue to the city, and too many roads that are overbuilt. This city is designed for the movement of vehicles, not people. I'm not sure about you all, but walking along Warwick Boulevard, Jefferson Avenue, Denby Boulevard, Bland Boulevard, just around here in this neighborhood, is depressing and frankly scary. Heck, I just walked to Stony Run Park. I was here early. No sidewalk, and those vehicles were definitely not going at 50 miles per hour. Everybody thinks about crime, but my biggest worry every time I leave my home is getting run over by a vehicle. I was there when Mayor Jones and the City Council voted down that, some of you voted down that Wawa and Chick-fil-A development on Jefferson Avenue, but Mayor, Vice Mayor, I remember that. You were in the minority in the short-sightedness of your fellow council members to approve to the potential detriment of the quality of life in the neighborhood surrounding it. This is the reason why downtown Newport News is dead as doornail. We have too many Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, so on and so forth. We have too many large corporate businesses that don't care about this neighborhood. and that is why there's a huge black hole in the corner of Oriana and Warwick. Again, an empty concrete that does not generate revenue for the city. The way this city was designed, it's to be used as thoroughfares, especially Warwick Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue, for the two biggest employers in the city, Newport News Shipbuilding and Fort Eustis. This is unsustainable for the city. I want to live where kids can safely play in the streets without fear of getting run over. The speed limit of many of these streets is supposed to be 25 miles per hour, but I highly doubt it's been followed or enforced. So believe it or not, most people do not want to live in a city that is hostile to pedestrians and bicyclists. The most vibrant neighborhoods are the ones designed for people, not cars. Small businesses take root in these vibrant neighborhoods, and they will generate revenue in the city and hopefully lower my property tax, lower my property tax rates. This city has so much untapped potential, and I don't want a status quo. And I'm asking all of you to have that perspective, a long-term perspective, and redesign this neighborhood, this city on a human scale, not on vehicles. At the very least, you can have a very lasting impact, positive impact to the residents of this city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Simon Burnell.
Greetings, Mr. Mayor and remaining council members here today. I am Prince Angelica. In an attempt to inspire a more diplomatic approach to improving our African American communities here in Newport News, we would like to bring to your attention a significant and historical event that made a great impact in American history. In 1775, the British Crown imposed an increase in taxes on the 13 colonies here in America. Its increase in taxes didn't cause the Revolutionary War. So as we embrace diversity and inclusion, there must still be an emphasis on the preservation of some of the oldest African American communities here in Newport News. Also, as an extension for African Appreciation Month, for some of these communities have produced very prominent and influential members of society, such as Joseph Thomas Newsom, Marcus Garvey, Gabby Douglas, and Jesse Raleigh. We have been continually imposed of an increase in taxes in the city of Newport News. There have been an influx of foreign establishments / businesses in our African American communities. For example, the Chinese have flooded our communities with Chinese restaurants, Mexicans have influxed our communities with Mexican restaurants, and people of Taiwan descent that own nail shops. Also, people from Afghanistan and Pakistan have now incorporated hookah shops. So although our communities appear to be based on the needs, traditions, and philosophies of African Americans, it is almost definitely a facade, since most African Americans in our community are experiencing a similar fate to those of the 13 colonies. We have been experiencing an influx of tax representation. So, as we embrace our African culture in Newport News, we would like to improve our African American communities. And I also want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Helen Dunstan.
Hello, my name is Helen Dunstan. I'd like to talk to the city property tax and the vice president of City of Newport News and staff. Right now, I moved here in 1994. I bought my property here in Newport News. My mortgage, I paid off my mortgage last year, and all of a sudden, my taxes went up. My house went up, my land went up, and I have a problem with that. Because right now, I search for homes for people that is not able to live because of the economy. And the reason why they're not able to live because of the increase of housing, rent, property, and lack of education. Right now, my house went double since I've been in my house for the last 19 years. Right here, the lack of education is not here in this community. We have crimes. reason why we have crimes and killing right here in Newport News and the city of Virginia is because the house is too much. The expenses of mortgage is, you all got the mortgage mixed up with the city. The mortgage, yeah, they pay off the tax, yeah, but you're stealing money from the mortgage company. That's all I gotta say. You are really actually stealing money from the mortgage company, but you are trying to steal money for those people who work hard for their house to be carried on in their family. Because right now, I talk to my kids about property. I talk to my kids about house. I talk to my kids about tax. I let them realize where I'm living, you must learn how to pay the tax now, not after I pass away. So I teach my kids responsibility. I lean on them to make sure they can be more responsible and willing to pay their dues just like I did. I work hard. I volunteer. Yes, I volunteer for the military. Now I'm volunteer for the community. I don't get paid. Only way I get paid is that I can put a smile on somebody's face and say, you deserve a place to stay. And I take them places. I make sure they get their license. I make sure they get their job. I make sure I take care of their kids. All this is free from me, from the bottom of my heart. But now, it seems like the city just want to take over your property. So right now, after I die, my kids won't have nothing to lean on because the property tax is more expensive than my house. And I go in the neighborhood and I ask, I said, how much was your house at the beginning? $49,000. I said, well, how much your house now? Oh my God, 3 times as much that I paid for. And she said, I said, well, he's 79 years old, almost 80. I said, what's happening now if you go in the nursing home? My kids would be able to take care of it. I don't think so. Appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Sharon Scott.
Hi, Councilwoman. Good to see you. Good evening, the Honorable Mayor and Vice Mayor and the council members and City Attorney, City Manager, and Madam Clerk. It is an honor to be here today. You know, I always wonder what it would feel like to be on this side of the podium and to speak to you all. So you all watch how you look at me, okay? Because I'm about to go there. No, but I just couldn't miss this opportunity, especially since the meeting is here in Denby, where I live at 252 Susan Constant Drive. And today I feel kind of guilty because I'm listening to the other citizens talk about the tax rate and how devastating it is to them. So I'm just going to encourage you all to put the information out there that is available for the seniors so that they can take advantage of it. Maybe it's a good time to run it in Newport News now. And I feel guilty because I was preparing my home to sell last September, all during the pandemic. I had organized and started packing and sorting and discarding, and I was prepared to sell in November. Well, today I'm glad I didn't sell. I would have left $20,000 on the table, so I'm sorry. I feel guilty for feeling happy that I didn't sell in November, but I know it is a burden for some of our citizens, especially those who are on a fixed income. But more importantly, you all know where I am today here in this Denby Community Center. You all know how I feel about the pool. So I just want to ask you all to just keep sight of the pool as you go through the budget. And I know it's in the CIP side and not the budget side, but please remember the promise that we made to the citizens 20, 30 years ago, even before I was on the council. And I appreciate you, Councilwoman Big, who did support me when we were fighting right here. Right. And I just think it's so important. I know that we're doing some other things. I heard a little bit about the project at Thorncliffe, that, you know, the pool there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And now we have seniors, and I'm one of them. And with our joints not being like they used to be, and I'm a real senior, it's an opportunity for seniors to exercise if we have that pool. It's an opportunity. One of my friends, her grandbaby is 6 months old. He's taking swimming lessons at 6 months old. It's an opportunity for our brown babies and our black babies to learn to swim a little bit earlier, so they're not the ones that are deficit and, you know, drowning at a larger proportion than other babies. So I know that we have a lot to do with a little bit of money, but I'm just asking you all to just be as considerate as of us citizens as you can, and just continue to do a great job. And I thank you all for stepping up And it's just so nice to see y'all smile at me, and then I'm not really being antagonistic. But you know, I had to throw the pool in there, you know, that had to come in. And I just thank you for your time. See, I'm gonna, thank you all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Curtis Majors.
Curtis Majors, retired Special Ops, First Sergeant, United States Army. To the board members, Mayor, thank you for giving me the opportunity just to be here. And Ms. Scott, thank you. It hurts my heart as a young soldier when I got here from Europe to come to America and decided to take Newport News as my resident, retired. My wife, she deceased recently. 33 years education in the city of Newport News. And it hurts me to my heart to see what we're doing here. We elected new members, new growth, new youth. I've researched everybody here on the board. And I also listened to a lot of stuff that Ms. Woodbury that goes on here in the city of Newport News. And it's hard for me to believe that we're not compatible when it comes to Ms. Vick, to the property taxes of our local cities. So my military members come to me as a representation from Fort Eustis Transportation Joint Base Langley. They would love to stay here in this particular area. Until we get these property taxes down, we have a crisis on our hands, a serious crisis. I'm looking at the smiling faces. I'm looking at when we go back to behind the board, we sat back, and do we really put our heart into this? This board is almost completely new. So let's don't be antiquated in the decision making that we make, and let's sit back and just take a look at what we're losing compared to the other cities, Isle of Wight County, Williamsburg, James City County, York County. We have a lot here to offer here in the city of Newport News, especially here at Hampton Roads. We're not lacking for money. I've looked at the budget for the city manager, what the city manager gets paid. I've looked at the property taxes for the last 37 years since I've been here. Only that I'm asking to the board, take a look at the people that live here, want to live here, but have opportunities to go somewhere else. Let's keep Newport News proud as we are. Thank you, board members. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Carol Wiseman.
Actually, it's Carol Wiseman, but everybody always gets it wrong.
Apologies.
That's all right. I wasn't going to talk, but I'm talking for myself and other people that I know that could not make it tonight. The property tax, the real estate tax is way too high. Now, I should have complained years ago when you actually reduced the rate per 100,000. But then what do? You appraise my house to be so much higher, so my property tax actually ends up being higher. And this year, the appraisal value is such that I would never be able to sell my house for that amount. Never. In fact, I have had people on both sides of me who flip my house. I get cold calls from people who want to pay cash for my house, and there is no way that they would pay the cash value that you've appraised my house at. And I'm sure I'm probably not the only one here. And that money that I have to pay in property tax and real estate tax, that's stuff that can go back into the economy. And I have not analyzed what you spend your money on, but I'd ask all of you to really think thoroughly as to what you're spending the money on, and to realize that it's our tax dollars that you're paying for. And we're being socked with federal, socked with Virginia, and now socked with local and city taxes. So I just ask each one of you to really think about it when you go through the budget, and think about, is this really necessary? Is it really necessary? So thank you for giving me the opportunity to vocalize what I think, and I know I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all the cards that I have at this time. Do we have any more cards from the back? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long,
4.
Councilwoman Big,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Motion carried, 7-0.
Thank you. So before we adjourn, I just want to say two things. One is a reminder that this is the recommended operating budget. It is adopted by City Council, by City Charter. And I believe that we have the votes now on hand, that we are going to reduce it from 120 to 118. We are going to adopt that in the upcoming weeks, but we have heard you, and we did want to tell you that as a group. There's no further business. We stand adjourned. Thank you.